Alright, welcome back to the channel. Not sure why I dropped to black there, but anyway. We are back in Flight Sim 2020. And I just want to make sure that everything is running okay. And it seems to be alright, because OBS was freaking out earlier. But I think... looks like it's fine now. Okay, let's hope it stays alright. As you can probably tell from the title, we are saying goodbye to Air Namibia. They closed down, what's today, the 14th. On the 11th of February, they announced that they were shutting down all operations, grounding all their aircraft, stopping any future bookings, and getting everyone who had already booked to apply for refunds and stuff like that. So I don't know the whole history behind it. Something to do with debt that they owed a certain company that they couldn't pay, and they need to now liquidate to try and pay some of that back. Something like that. I don't really care about the whole story behind it. It's just, I've always thought that Air Namibia, their aircraft look really cool. I've always liked the flag on the tail. It looks awesome. And it's funny because I was actually just looking at this livery that I've got for the A320neo the other day and thinking, okay, we should do some Air Namibia flights. And as I was kind of looking at that, I saw the news that their operations had been shut down. So we're going to do a final Air Namibia flight here. We're going to fly up from Cape Town to Windhoek, which is the hub for Namibian Airlines, or Air Namibia. Let me just sort out all of this stuff quickly, and then we will be good to go. I always forget to do this before we go live, because I am a professional. Also, Jason's probably going to shout at me a lot today because I've got my checklist on my iPad in front of me, and he always hates it when I look down, so... soz. But he's not here, so he'll have to deal with it when he arrives. Alright, what was the other thing I was trying to do? Okay, sorry guys, just 1 second, and then we will be good to go. Okay. Oh, you are here. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry, normally you say something, or you normally say first or something to try and annoy Kelly, but so I just assumed that you weren't here, and often you are late, so I feel like I'm not completely in the wrong. But we are all glad that you're here, Jason. Thank you for being in attendance. Okay, so let's jump into the cockpit and get started. Right, so as always, we are flying the FlybyWire A320neo. Now, Air Namibia doesn't have A320neos. I think they only had A319s. I know they definitely have A319s. I'm not sure if they had A320s. I don't think so. So we're not 100% flying the correct aircraft today, but that's alright. It looks cool, and that's what counts the most, I think. Okay, so let me bring up my checklist. Right, so we need all of our... so batteries are on, external power is on, nav lights are on. Let's go ahead and start up the APU, so we'll switch that on and give it 1, 2, 3 seconds, and now we can fire it up. And let's switch our ADRS to nav, so we'll wait for the on battery light to extinguish. And we'll do system 2, same thing. And system 3. Right, then if we just go through this should be set to captain and purser. Ground control we can't change. Crew supply oxygen should be on. Lights we'll do later on. Let's see. What is the weather like in Cape Town today? Right, so winds 260 at 7 knots. Clouds at 3,000 and 4,000 feet. Temperature is 21 degrees. So let's bring this down a little bit. QNH 1013, which is standard. So this is all set. We can go ahead and turn on these guys. That we don't need to change, and that all looks good. Right, let me go back here. Okay, so battery 1 and 2 on. So I'm actually probably going through the checklist now. The rest of that was all from memory. Ground connection, ground power is connected. Parking brake is set. Double check that. Yes, it is. And nav and logo light is on. APU master on. APU is on. And that means we can turn the bleed on now that that's gone green. Right. Then we can go ahead and set up the MCDU, I think. Right. So we should have our flight plan loaded in any case, because we did our flight planning in SimBrief. What I should do though is go to the ATSU, go in here, and let's just print out. I didn't want to change that actually. Also, our alternate is Wolfers Bay. So we'll add that to the list and just print out the weather for those airports. Jason likes it when you talk to him instead of me. True. That is true. Poor Jason. But at least he's here. We'll give him that. Right. Okay, so we should have received this. There it is, and we'll print that guy out. This is still so cool. I know it's very simple, but it's really, really cool. Okay, let's grab that piece of paper, and now we have our weather for our 3 airports printed out. So, not the same weather that we're picking up in real life, which is not surprising. Flight Sim's weather has been fairly inaccurate recently. So, this is telling us the wind on the airport actually is 290 degrees at 11 knots. Right. So let's go and make sure. What airport do we have? Not airport, what runway do we have set? 190. So I just want to double check that that's going to be the best option for us. So let's do. The wind is in the sim 290 and speed 11. The runway heading is 19, so we'll put that in. Okay, so that is still going to be our best runway, so that's perfect. Okay, is the stream freaking out? Is OBS? Okay, OBS seems a little bit happier now. Let's hope that's sorted out any issues. why it's freaking out. Let me double check. Yeah, that's all right. Oh, OBS is really struggling. No, there was a graphics driver update. Maybe that's what's broken. Okay, that seems much better. Right, let me know if the stream starts freaking out again, because I think OBS is a bit happier now. Let's hope it stays like that. Okay, the sim still seems okay. Right. So, runway 19 is the one that we want. That's perfect. Let's go back here and program in our route. Okay, so no, definitely not runway 16. Runway 19. And we are doing, I double check. This is codes 1 Bravo, I think. 1 Bravo. Cool. So that's this guy. Did that actually put it in? Yes, it did. Perfect. We'll accept that. That looks very weird. And that's because of this guy. Let's take that out. Let's see if that makes it any better. Yeah, that still definitely doesn't look right. So, Flight Sim 2020 has some issues with some of the procedures. So, we might have to do a bit of a manual control on the departure here. Which is really not an issue. Doesn't bother me. Because I'm not sure what is happening here. See, what is... Why do we have extra waypoints here? This is our problem. Okay, let's go backwards through it and just have a look. So that's all right. But then... Okay, that's all correct. And what is this? Okay, no, now it does look right. But on... See, we've got... Yeah, that looks correct, but something's not happy here. Oh, that's why. Got a whole bunch of this in twice. Okay, let's see if we can clean this up. Okay, so... This Cape Town VOR, we're not actually supposed to fly to the VOR, we're supposed to fly to an intercept radial, which it is not reading correctly. So let's just get rid of all of this and see if we can reload this procedure and make it happy. Otherwise we'll just fly it manually. Okay, so let's go back in here, go departure, runway 19, codes 1 Bravo, and let's just see what that looks like. That looks better. Right, okay. That's sorted that out. That looks good. Okay, let's go to our performance page. No, actually we want to fill out. We did all of that, so we want to go here. And let me grab our flight plan for today. is... where can I find it now? Oh, 'cause I'm on the wrong thing. Right, there we go. So we are Cape Town to Windhoek today. Let's take a look. That's this guy. Is it raining my side? Yeah, I don't know. OBS is not happy with something. It's not limiting the bitrate properly for some reason. Okay, let me see if I can mess around with it again. Yeah, reset OBS again. Let's hope it'll play the game. It seems to be alright for now. Okay, so we are Air Namibia 1324, Cape Town to Windhoek. What was I looking for? Cost index today is 8. And flight level 350. Okay, then if we go, let's just add our fuel. So we have 8.5 tons is what we need. And we are currently at 9.4. So let's move that up to 8.5. That'll do. And then takeoff weight. Takeoff weight 70 tons. So let's push this up. We're currently at 58, 67. That's perfect. Right. Yeah, no, the stream buffering, it's not on your side. It's, OBS is not doing what it's supposed to for some reason. I'll keep playing with it. So it seems settled now. I'll keep double checking. Just let me know if it keeps buffering, because yeah, it's OBS. It's not your side. Okay, that's set. Let's get some brightness here, so we can actually see these dials. Right. Okay, that's that done. Let's go to these. Before we do that, we want to put in our flaps. We'll do flaps 2 for takeoff. Flex to 55. Let's put these guys in. Right, that all looks good. Now, if I come to my charts. Okay, let's go through this quickly. So, surface movement guidance, we're not too stressed about that. We want to talk about taxi procedures. This is all for aircraft with a bigger wingspan than ours. Heavy aircraft, okay, that's fine for us. Docking guidance, we're not really worried about. Paragliding in the vicinity, Cat 1 and 2. Right, let's go to the next briefing. Okay, so startup and pushback. So we must call ground when we are fully ready once the tug is already connected. That's fine. Right, we need to do noise abatement departure procedure 2. Okay. Right, so let me see if I can find those values quickly. Okay, so we are doing flaps 2. So let me just find. Okay, A320. Yeah, that's flaps 2. Okay, so basically looks like we just do 800, 800. Oh, 800 and 1500. So with the noise abatement departures, every single article I've read says slightly different things, and it seems like every airline uses different procedures. So I'm not really sure what we're going to use here. What's Cape Town Airport's elevation? We're at about 200 feet. So we'll do 1,000 and 1,700 should be all right. Okay, what else did we need to do? We've done this. We need to do this page. Right, that should enter by itself. Perfect, and our fuel today is 8.5. Oh, we need to go and update takeoff information because we've changed the weights, but those all look the same anyway. Perfect. It's buffering again. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. I don't know why OBS isn't working. Actually, hang on. Okay, there's no updates for OBS, so it's not that, because that's what the issue was last time. Okay, that looks a lot better. Let's see if that works. Yeah, that looks much better. Hopefully it stays like that now. Right, what was I doing? Okay, let's go back through our checklist. Okay, so we can go and do before start checklist. So cockpit prep is complete. We have 1013. We'll turn on the flight director and constraints. Put that side on as well. No, there's no SAS in this aircraft. Only in the helicopters do we have the SAS. Right. Addons is aligned. Parking brake is set. Fuel on board. Double check. So we have a gross weight there of 70 tons, which is perfect. Fuel on board 8.48, which is fine. We started with 8.5, but obviously the APU is running, so that's using fuel, so that's perfect. Okay, B is loaded. We've done all of this information. Flex temp is set. Speeds, V speeds are set. Signs, passenger signs are on. We can now turn the beacon light on because we are ready to go. Fuel pumps can all come on. Right, transponder. Let's clear that. 1324. And we'll leave that like it is. Nose wheel steering. All good. That is on. Anti-skid and nose wheel steering is on. Windows and doors closed. Flight deck door should be locked. No, that's not the way I wanted. That's the way I wanted. Right, that's locked. Also to make sure the passengers are on board. Right. To be fair, we didn't actually load any passengers on this flight because I thought PACX might have been breaking OBS. But it seems like it was TeamViewer, because all I did was close TeamViewer, which is always running in the background of my PC, and now OBS seems to be happy, which doesn't really make any sense to me. But hey, what do I know? Okay, I think we are just about ready to go. Let's just chat to ATC. They've already given our clearance, so let's push back. Right, where are we? So we are taking off to the south. So we're going to push back, turn to the aircraft's left, but to the right of the screen. And out that way, and taxi out to runway 19. Okay. OBS looks much happier, so that's great. Let's go ahead and get ready to take off. Well, to start up and taxi, I suppose. Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead, flight deck.
We are ready for pushback and engine start.
Roger. Release the parking brakes, please.
Okay. Brakes released.
Pushing back.
Okay, while that's happening, I want to turn these lights up a bit. Brakes are released. That's all set. We are good to go. Right, here we go. You can also turn up some lights for this stuff. Make everything a bit easier to read. We'll do the same up here. Okay, nav lights are on. We can turn the wing lights on just to give us a bit more visibility. Strobes can come to auto. That's perfect. And we can disengage that because they're going to disconnect it anyway. Right, there goes our pushback. So let's go and fire up. We'll start engine 2 first. So mode selector to ignition. And we'll flip the master mode, or the engine master, to on. While that's happening, we also need to go and steer. And am I going to turn the wrong way first? Yes, I am. I need to swap those directions around because I always turn the wrong way first. So that's the one thing I think they need to fix with Pushback Express is my tug, I can't control how much it turns. Let me try it with a different axis. Yeah, so it's either turning or not. I can't turn a little bit. It's either, what's that, like 45, 30 degrees-ish, or it's not turning. So I can only go straight or turn. Anyway, now that our engine is running, let's power up engine 1. Stop pushback.
Pushback complete. Set parking brakes, please.
Brake set.
Roger. Okay, the tow bar is disconnected and the equipment is clear. We will see you in the left side with a pin.
You are clear to disconnect and go to hand signals.
Thanks. Have a good flight. See you later.
Right, so he's done. Let's now go flaps 2. We'll set the auto brake to maximum. And we shall do flight controls. So full left, full right, full up, full down, and rudders, full left, full right. Okay, flight controls check complete. Trims set. Departure brief is confirmed. Takeoff data, we've got flight director, constraints are on, QNH is set, and that's good. Flaps config 2. ECAM memo, we will double check in a moment because it'll update when we start moving. So let's actually do that. And we can also set nose light to taxi, runway turn off lights on. Right, and we are on our way. Okay, so let me go back to my charts. Right, so we are departing from runway 19. And at 5 DME from Cape Town, we will turn right to heading 240. And we will intercept the 210 degree radial from Cape Town VOR at that point. And then, once we pass 5,500 feet, we will turn right again to 335 degrees. And then we will intercept a radial from the, I need to concentrate on where I'm going, from the Robben Island VOR. And we'll just go direct to Robben Island, that's what that means. And from Robben Island, we will go direct to codes and then on with our route. Okay, so a couple of things left to do. The engines in the Neo are so powerful that it speeds up even when you're at idle thrust. So we've got to watch that. Let's pop this on. We'll flip on our transponder. And on a bit of lights here. Don't confuse runway 16 for runway 19. We're going to the next one. Auto brake is on. We need to let the cabin know. We'll do that in a second once we've made this turn. Let's not have a completely ridiculous view of this. Okay, also I can get this out of my face because we are done talking to the ground crew. I'm going to say it again, as with every Flight Sim stream, I still think the rudder is way too twitchy. Okay, let's just let the cabin crew know that we are ready to go. Right, we can also then turn on our landing and our landing lights and our nose lights. I should have done this one first because I can't click on that one. I can go to takeoff. These two can come to on. This can turn off. That comes to on. Right, let's do our 90-degree turn here. Hi Joseph, thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome to the stream. Right. Where are we flying to? So we are just about to take off from Cape Town International in South Africa, and we are making our way up the coast to Windhoek in Namibia. Air Namibia, which is the airline we're about to do our flight for, just announced a few days ago that they are shutting down their operations. They're closing the airline down, so we're doing a kind of final flight with Air Namibia because they will be no longer fairly shortly. Okay, without wasting any more time on the runway, let's turn all of this stuff on, and this can go back to normal, and then we are ready to go. So we'll throttle up, so stick down until we reach 80 knots. And we're looking for flex, which we have. There's 60, 70, 80 knots, so stick back to neutral. Keep it straight with the rudder. It is fairly windy. We've got a decent 11 knot crosswind component. Okay, V1. And there's rotate. Yeah, the wind is more significant than I first expected. Okay, so there's positive rate. We'll go gear up. The autopilot already wants us to make that right-hand turn. We can do that now. Okay, so we'll go back to climb power. Why do I feel like the engines are just switching off? Come on. There we go. That's what you're supposed to do. Hey Callum, thank you for tuning in as always. Right, let's go flaps on. And we'll put the autopilot on. And this waypoint is not in the right place. For sure. We're supposed to turn further out. Okay. That's my bad. I missed that. Should have put the flaps up a bit earlier. That's why it's shouting at me. Right, so yeah, this departure procedure, we're supposed to turn quite a lot later. So that's something we'll have to double check. Anyway, not too much of an issue. As always, this aircraft will just blow through any speed restrictions. Right, let's turn off the taxi lights and the wing lights, and the APU can also come off. I'm just flying Spirit A320neo 24,000 feet. Where are you flying to and from? Okay, we can go standard. No, not QFE. That's what we wanted. Let's zoom out here a bit. Right. Why are we leveling off? Okay, so I feel like it doesn't say. It says plus 5,500, which we should be above. So let's. Oh, so I still have 5,000 set there. That's why. Whoops. Not doing so well this evening. Flying from London Heathrow to Madrid. Awesome. I also really enjoy flying in the UK. That's great fun as well. Hope you enjoy your flight, and thanks for coming to hang out with us. A happy Valentine's Day to everyone as well, by the way. Okay, why is our standard flashing? What does it think our transition altitude is? Doesn't actually really matter. Right, so codes above 9,000 feet, we'll make that easily. A little bit bumpy. There we go, out of the clouds. Sure, as you guys can see, I'm a little bit out of practice in the A320. It's been a while since I flew this. Let's get some more brightness on these displays as we go through the clouds. Well, as we are now above the clouds. Right, the other thing we can do is disarm the spoilers. Let's brighten this up a bit as well. And we've just passed 10,000 feet, so let's turn all of our landing lights off. Right, otherwise I think we are good to go. Okay, after takeoff checklist. Landing gear up, ECAM checked. Our barrel reference is set to standard. And flaps are up. Lovely sunset over Paris, that's awesome. We're going to be arriving in Windhoek, I think, just around sunset. Maybe a little bit earlier, but it is also going to be late afternoon there. And as always, this game looks amazing. Oh, the other thing I didn't even mess around with was the new EFB. Hey, we have coffee as well. Okay, we don't have coffee anymore. Never mind, it's back. So this is the FlyPad, which is such a cool name, which they've recently added. I don't know how much functionality is in here at the moment. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so they still have the issue where the moving map doesn't quite know where we are. Let's have a look at what they've put in here. So there's just the overview of the aircraft. We have a load sheet, which we'd have to load from SimBrief, and this all isn't done yet. So obviously this is very new. It is not finished. Okay, that's pretty cool. We can control all of our ground stuff from there. That's awesome. We have some settings, which isn't done yet. So this is going to be really, really useful. So I'm super keen for that once they've added some more functionality. It's a great start. Let's see if this is going to copy anything from there. It doesn't look like it. Oh. Anyway, the FlyPad is going to be super cool. We can have, I'm hoping that aside from the performance calculations and stuff like that, maybe later on they'll add like charts. So maybe we can link Navigraph, like kind of like the Avi tab we can do in X-Plane. That'll be really cool. So there's loads they can do with that. So it's a very good start. Not much we can do in it yet, but it's only just been added. So as always, they are constantly adding to this A320. For those of you that don't know, this FlybyWire mod is completely free. It adds loads of functionality. It makes the aircraft a lot more realistic, and it is totally free, and they are constantly updating it. So cheers to the FlybyWire team for that. Right. Let me make sure there's nothing I've missed. We are well on our way to codes, and then we will turn north and make our way up to Windhoek. So at the moment, obviously we are in Cape Town's airspace. So after codes, we then go to Zavmu. And at Zavmu, we cross into Johannesburg. No, it's not Johannesburg. Is it? Yes, it is Johannesburg's FIR, so their airspace. And we go all the way up to Neva, where we cross into Windhoek's airspace, and we'll remain in Windhoek's airspace all the way to Windhoek Airport. I think because we are saying goodbye to Air Namibia, we'll do like a little fly past at Windhoek before we actually land. I think that'll be pretty cool. So we'll come in on the ILS, do an approach, but we'll keep the gear down, and we'll just overfly the runway. Probably 200 knots. We'll do, yeah, about 200 knots, just nice and low over the runway, and then circle around, and then do our landing. I think that'll be quite nice. Right, hope you guys are all having a fantastic end of the weekend. It is... what is the time here? It is almost 9 o'clock here in South Africa on Sunday evening. So we are closing off the weekend, finishing off Valentine's Day with a farewell flight for Air Namibia. What's the time in the sim? 3:30. That's Zulu time, so 5:30 local time. As always, just messing water all over myself. Because I take these cold out of the fridge and then it's a million degrees in my room, so it just... condensation just drips everywhere. Right. OBS definitely seems a lot happier now that I've closed TeamViewer. Don't ask me why that was upsetting it, but it seems to have done the trick, which is good news. Wow, that's very early to to leave that waypoint and go to the next one. Interesting. Okay, 165 miles to Zavmu. We are just passing flight level 270, going up to flight level 350. Okay, so now, we should have actually flown over codes. I don't know why our aircraft decided to give up on that waypoint and go to the next one, but it's okay. We are slowly but surely powering our way out of Cape Town. So we will be joining Airway UN 186 all the way from codes. We follow this one all the way to Windhoek. We are on the same airway all the way up to where we start our approach. Speaking of our approach, let us go have a look. Our approach is Atop 1 Bravo. So I'm actually going to go and put that in now. And we are doing runway 26. Let's have a look. So Windhoek's wind 210 at 15 knots. Wow. Okay. So looks like we're in for some fun and games again on the approach. That's actually perfect. And just make sure that all of that is entered correctly. There's a 2P. Okay, has it done this again? Where it enters everything twice. It looks like it might have. Yes, so we need to take this bit out. Like it can come out. This one can come out. This guy. In fact, this one can also come out. That looks better. Aircraft is freaking out a little bit. Why are we wanting to turn around? Okay, that's where we should be going, please. Yeah, so obviously still some fun and games with the modded aircraft. I mean, I'm not surprised. This whole part of the plane is the most complex to actually work with. Okay. Let me get a flight plan here and let's see. So we should go... Okay, Zavmu is where we're going now. Then... Dudmo, Itnox, Uvilla, Neva, Etbeer, Evomo, Epsag, Apdim is right, Zotek, then Fritz shouldn't be here, and neither should, oh wait, Atupi is right, that's correct, Atupi, then Atnav, okay, that looks better. Right, I think we now have the right route. Let's actually do this. We'll go here to plan and just step through this. Okay, Dudmo is correct. Itnox. That all looks good. And a 2P. Then we turn to Atnav. And then we go around like that. That doesn't look right. We should be going around this side of the airport. So let's go and take... Let's take this out. And see what that does. We're at our cruising altitude now. Okay, now let's see what we're working with. So we'll step through again quickly. And it's still turning us around on the other side of the airport. That is very strange. Okay, let me double check. So, for this runway, runway 26. Okay, ILS 26. Fritz is our initial point. Oh, so that's where we actually intercept the localizer and the glide slope. Okay. So no, Fritz we intercept the localizer and we continue another 3.2 miles and then intercept the glide slope. Right, so we definitely are supposed to be at Fritz. But this, we shouldn't be doing this crazy loop around that side of the airport. So I think we're going to take all of this out that we've just added in. So Antnav is correct. Oh, that says Antav. Am I just been reading it wrong the whole time? Let's bring this up and see. Okay, no, Antav is right. So we want to get rid of Joey. Great, which we can't do. Is it because we're in this mode? It shouldn't make a difference. Okay, please let me delete this. Right. Okay, I can delete that one. Can I now delete the rest of them? No. Okay, this is why I still fly explain. I want to just take, let's just do this. See, I can't even clear it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, let's put that in and see what our flying plan looks like now. And see all the stuff is still there. Right. Yeah, so it looks like we're just going to have to deal with it. Or we can just fly it manually. How about that? How about we do a manual arrival into Windhoek? Because none of this is working now. It is broken. I think we'll just do that. Okay. Let's start preparing ourselves for that. So at Atupi, we are going to go to... What? Actually, maybe I can just program everything in before that. That might work. Okay, so what have we... What's our last waypoint here? Zotek. So, is this going to let me put stuff in? So... We're still on 186 here. Right. Okay, let's try this. What's the next one? So that we've got no, not Zavmu. Okay, Zotek. And the next waypoint then is Atupi. Is this gonna work? No. Right, we're doing it manual. Okay, welcome to Flight Sim. Right, what else did we know about the weather? Actually, let's do a weather update because we should have a new one. So, what am I looking for? Menu. Go in here. And we'll do a weather request. We'll put Walvis Bay in as well because it's our alternate. So, WB. Stick that in. And we will request the weather for those 3 airports. Give that a little bit of time to receive, and then we should have a second one over here in a bit. There we go. Print that guy out. Yes, I'm not a weatherman. Right. But weather is important when we're flying. Okay, so... Wait, what was our previous one? So for Windhoek was 17 Zulu, and we're now at 18 Zulu. So, winds 210 at 9 knots. That's a lot better than the 15 knots we had earlier, so I'm happy about that. Few cumulonimbus clouds at 3,000 feet? Or is that 300 feet? 030. No, that's 3,000 feet. So, temperature 18, QNH 1019. So the winds are a bit better, but we've got some storm clouds in the area. And we have no weather information for Walvis Bay because there's no weather station there. Okay, so yeah, unfortunately, our aircraft is not letting us set up the FMS the way we want, or the MCDU, I should say. If I go back here, it says none there. It keeps wanting to put this in. I don't want this. And no star. But despite that, I still have all this random stuff which I cannot remove. So, I think we're just gonna fly the star manually. Why not? I've got all the headings and everything on the chart, so let's start talking about that. Right, so I've got the charts in front of me on my iPad. So, hey, Salkrader, have you ever thought of doing a VATSIM flight? So that's a long story. In fact, it's quite an interesting story because we're flying for Air Namibia. So I used to fly quite a lot. I've got about 400 hours on VATSIM. A few years ago, probably 5-6 years ago, I used to fly all the time on VATSIM. Yeah, and then there was just, I didn't really like what was going on with certain things. I got sick of the poor audio. But obviously with the new codec, it's a lot better. So I've definitely been wanting to get back into VATSIM. As weird as it seems, because I'm sitting here talking to you guys, it stresses me out talking on the radios, so that's why I never got back into it. I have to force myself to do it. But obviously once I get into the flight, I really enjoy it. But I don't know, it seems kind of stupid, but I've still got that push to talk nervousness. So I am gonna get back into it at some point. It's funny because we're flying for Air Namibia. That was the first VATSIM event I ever did, was an Air Namibia flight from Cape Town to Windhoek. So we're actually doing the same flight. That must have been about 7-8 years ago. But yeah, do you fly on VATSIM? The other issue that I have with VATSIM in South Africa, there's hardly any coverage. If I go and look at VATSIM now, watch now, just because I said that everyone will be online. I have seen over the last few weeks it's got significantly better. There have been a few controllers on every evening. Okay, so at the moment, Johannesburg Center is the only one online. And Johannesburg Ground. So we've got Joburg Ground and Joburg Center. That's... Oh, and Durban Ground. Okay, so better, a lot better than it used to. So that is something I'm keen to get into. Yeah, look, I find that I really enjoyed it, but I had to be in the mood. So if I really didn't feel like going through all the procedures and speaking to people on the other side, the other thing that's frustrated me a bit, I've been watching other streamers flying on VATSIM. With Flight Sim, it's brought a lot of new people to Flight Sim, which is great, but a lot of people are just jumping on VATSIM, and there have been so many, I've heard quite a few things with people that just have no idea how to fly the aircraft and now jumping on VATSIM. I was watching a stream earlier where the controller actually just logged off because there were like 4 or 5 pilots that he had over Heathrow who didn't know how to fly the aircraft and were just talking all over people and doing the wrong thing. So I'm not super keen for that, but I've been saying to myself the last few weeks, I need to get back on VATSIM and do some flying. But I think if I do, I'm probably going to end up flying in the UK, just where we have loads more coverage. So like if I look, Gatwick has ground, tower, approach, and London centers online. So there you're actually getting the full coverage. Whereas in South Africa, only half of South Africa is actually covered, and there's 2 airports with ground controllers. So every single time in the last month or so when I've looked at VATSIM and gone, okay, I really feel like doing a flight, I'll jump online in South Africa and fly in VATSIM, there's no controllers. So it's a little bit scary to start off at somewhere like London. I probably won't do that to begin with, but that would be my end goal, is to fly in Europe. But what I used to do when I first started, a while back was some of the other areas in Europe. So I did quite a lot of flying from, where was it? I flew a few times from Malta, the little island, and often had a tower and approach controller there, and flew into like Rome and some of those areas where there's still people online, because it's part of Europe, and they're generally pretty good. I've never really been interested in flying in America. I don't know why, I just haven't. So the European stuff was always more interesting for me. So I would say pick somewhere that's not super busy. When you first start, go to somewhere like South Africa when it's just Joburg online, Joburg Center or something like that, and then just go through the process so it's not as intense. But yeah, I definitely do want to get back into VATSIM. It's going to take a lot of effort for me to actually, sign in and psych myself up to doing that. But I must admit, I have been very impressed over the last few weeks with the South African airspace. So there's been a lot more. I mean, right now there's 3 controllers online. We've got Johannesburg Center and Durban Ground, Joburg Ground. That's a lot more than normal. Other than events, it was fairly uncommon to see more than like maybe 1 or 2 controllers online. On weekends it's a little bit better, but during the week even I've seen quite a few times where there are a few controllers online in Joburg, in South Africa. So yeah, VATSIM's great. It makes it more realistic, obviously. Yeah, I just don't really like talking to people, which seems strange. I don't know, there's something about I think for me, it's because I haven't actually studied the material, and I don't want to do the online training thing. I looked at the online training thing for VATSIM, and it's just, I can't go through that whole process. Like, it's just going to be too much effort for me. Well, not too much effort, but like scheduling and things, and trying to organize with other people to do training. I'm not keen on doing that. So it's kind of like I've just learned bits and pieces over the years, and then to jump online and hope everything that you have to say and do is a little bit strange. But I have to say, I never had any bad experiences when I actually did fly on VATSIM. So it's all in my head, but we'll get there. I have been thinking about it quite a lot recently, so I need to go and do some practicing, and then we'll start flying on VATSIM on stream. And as with everything, the more you do it, the easier it gets, and the more used to it you get. So I would say 100%, if you're thinking about it, give it a try. A good idea is just put in the comments of your flight plan that you're a new pilot. I generally just put that in there. I used to leave that in there all the time, because it would be so long in between flights that I would have forgotten stuff. And then the controllers, I've never ever had an issue with the controller. So in the beginning, I was terrified of speaking to controllers, because I thought they were going to shout at me and tell me I was doing everything wrong. But I had some weird things with other pilots, but I guess that's just dealing with people on the internet. The controllers, I never ever had a problem with any of the controllers. They were always super helpful, super nice. So pick somewhere that's not crazy busy. Put in your flight plan that you're new, and give it a try. Also, watching other streamers stream on VATSIM, listening to live air traffic control, to kind of get an idea of the communications helps a lot. There's another one, yes. So IVAO, I've tried both of them. I found they were both great. I didn't have any issues with either of them. IVAO I used to prefer that because it had much better audio than VATSIM, but now that the new VATSIM audio codec is there, I feel like VATSIM's audio is now a little bit better. Other than that, I sign up to both. When you feel like flying, see which one has people online in the area that you want to fly, and fly with them. There's no reason to fly for one or the other, that I found. So 100%. How is IVO AO in South Africa? That's a great question. Let's actually have a look and see if there's anything on now. Generally, I found that there was more VATSIM activity in South Africa than IVAO, if I remember correctly, but I haven't looked for years. So, I mean, we'll do a little spot check and compare. I'm gonna wager that there's no one online in terms of air traffic control in South Africa on IVAO. I know some people say FALE, which I think sounds weird. It's IVAO. There's not even a pilot online in South Africa. So there's someone flying from Windhoek to Luanda, and that's it. There's no one in Southern Africa online. So yeah, I think that kind of answers the question. Let's have a look. Europe's pretty busy. So just looking overall, I think VATSIM has overall more people online, pilots and controllers, but IVAO in Europe, there's a lot going on, but mostly, from what I remember, and actually I can see it on this map, it's not the UK and Ireland, it's the rest of Europe. So Spain all the way across to, what do we have here? Serbia, Hungary, Finland. Finland's got a little bit. Poland's got a lot. Stockholm, Norway, all of those have people online. There's actually just one air traffic controller at Heathrow. That's the only one in the UK. Oh, and there's a bunch going up in Scotland. So IVAO seems to be the rest of Europe. Definitely a lot busier. So yeah, I did try both. I was happy with both. I never had any issues. So I would just say, decide where you want to fly, or have a look at, if you want to fly a particular flight, go and look at both, see what's online in the areas that you want to fly, and choose based on that. I can't vote for one or vouch for one over the other. They were both perfect. One thing I do remember is the new client for VATSIM. It's called vPilot, and if you're flying on X-Plane, it's called X-Pilot. I found that easier to set up than IVAO. I don't know if IVAO have a new client. VATSIM's one is fairly recent. I think it's about 2 years old. The old VATSIM one used to use FSN and Squawkbox, and that got a little bit fiddly to set up. vPilot and X-Pilot, super easy. I don't know. I remember IVAO being a little bit more complex. So if they don't have a new client, that might be something you want to consider. Is, do you have, half an hour to mess around with a piece of software to get it to work? vPilot, you install it, you go through a couple of settings, and you're good to go. So yeah, that's something else to consider. But yeah, I should get back into flying VATSIM. It is really, really cool. It's just, yeah, I'm not gonna do it for the first time on stream, because I'm gonna have to. It'll just not because I'm gonna mess up. I don't mind messing up on stream. That doesn't bother me, because then you guys get to see the mistakes that I make, and you can laugh at me and then learn from the mistakes. Oh, there's someone just came online in on IVA. Oh wow, there's a tower controller online now at Artambo, is there? Oh no, I think that's just the airport display on the map. Never mind. There's one aircraft now that's flying from Joburg to Windhoek as well. So that's all in South Africa. But yeah, I don't mind messing up on stream, but I think it'll be super boring because I'll be concentrating so hard and not really talking to the chat. So I need to do a bit of practice, and then I'll do VATSIM on the stream. What other tips can I have for flying VATSIM? Have a notepad and a pen. Mine's actually under a pile of stuff over there. And kind of how can I how can I say it? Anticipate what they're gonna say. Make spaces to write things down. So like if you're doing departure, they're gonna tell you, they're gonna give you an altitude that you're cleared to. They're gonna tell you which SID you're cleared to depart on. They're gonna tell you what else is in their score code. So kind of plan for those different things and have a place to quickly write them down so that you're ready. It helps you. Don't try and remember stuff like I did the first time, and then they tell you 4 things and you can't remember the last one, and then you have to ask them to repeat it, which isn't always an issue. If you don't hear something, ask them to say it again, but make your life easier and just have a notepad and write it down. Right, how are we doing? Joseph, just landing now. Awesome. Landing at Madrid. Madrid is a cool airport. I enjoy that one. You said you were flying Spirit. Okay. How long is the flight from you were doing Heathrow to Madrid? How long is that flight? 2.5 hours? 3 hours? I have done that before for British Airways, I think. But not for a while. I hope you have a safe landing. But yeah, another mistake I made on VATSIM is the first time I tried to go from Heathrow, and then I think that's probably why I got so nervous about flying on VATSIM, because the first time ever I went to Heathrow on like a Wednesday night when it was crazy busy, and it was just unmanageable. There was so much going on, and it was one of those nights where it was so busy in Heathrow airspace that people, like, you didn't even get a chance to speak. There was just people speaking all the time, and I think that just stressed me out too much on my first time when I didn't know what I was doing. So definitely take it easy on your first VATSIM flight. Don't fly out of London or somewhere like JFK or LA or something like that. Find somewhere fairly quiet so that the controllers, obviously, they're always helpful, but the more time they have, if they're managing 50 planes, they're not going to have a lot of time to explain things to you, whereas if they've got 2 planes in their airspace, they've got loads more time to go through stuff with you, so then they're a lot more chilled. Now, look at me telling everyone how to fly on VATSIM when I don't. Right, we are missing our background music though. Right. Okay. So, before we started talking about VATSIM, I was just having a look at our approach, which we're going to fly, well, our arrival, which we are going to fly manually. So, we're going to go from a Tupi. Oh, we were... Oh, I know, I did try to put it in and it didn't work. So, from Zotek, yeah, I do need to go direct to a 2P. I think I did try this. And I didn't put it in. No. Yeah, that's a bit of an issue because I don't have headings before a 2P. I've got headings. Okay, no, we do have a 2P on our thing still, so that's great. So, oh yeah, because it's still got that old procedure that we can't get rid of. Oh, it's just now appeared. So maybe I can do the rest like this. Let's try. So after a 2P, we should go to ANTAV. ANTAV. Hey, it's working. Yeah, I can't clear out all these random ones. But we can put in the rest. So then we want to go to Nika, and I do realize now that this was all here before and we cleared it out when we were trying to fix our arrival. It's not going to be the one that's 7,000 miles away, let's be honest. Okay, we'll just put in the rest here. Oh, that's not going to show up until I actually put it in. Then we're going to Glamour. Oh, that's not showing up. Okay, so from ANTAV we're doing it manually. No worries, doesn't scare me. That we can do. Okay, fuel on board, still 7 tons, that's perfect. We don't actually need to be on flight controls anymore. Temperatures, 23, that's also perfect. Outside air temperature, -5. Yeah, but it definitely looks like VATSIM is a lot more going on in South Africa. There's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15-ish aircraft flying in South African airspace on VATSIM, and 1 on IVAO. So definitely seems like the way to go. But yeah, if you do want to get into VATSIM, once I get back into it, then of course I can answer any questions and help you out with things that you want to know. Callum, have you got... You do have Flight Sim 2020, right? Because I remember right in the beginning you saying that you wanted to get it. But then I think that you did end up getting it. Okay, do we have any speed restrictions? We do. So, max 250 at Nika, 230 at Glamour, 210 at Getet, which is the next one, and 185 at Fritz. Okay, you need to upgrade your PC. Okay, well obviously you don't necessarily need Flight Sim 2020 for VATSIM or anything. In fact, when I do fly on VATSIM, I'm going to do it in X-Plane, because as we can see with the issues I'm having with my plane, I don't want to have that when I'm online. So like when the controller gives me an instruction to fly a specific approach or something, I don't want to be messing around like this trying to get it to work, and I don't want my plane to freak out and turn to the right like it did earlier. So I'll be in the Zebra or the Tolus or something like that where I know it's going to listen. I'll wait until the aircraft in Flight Sim are a bit more stable before we start taking that online and putting ourselves under extra stress of having to follow instructions precisely. Because if I'm in the Zebo, if I'm in the Tolus 319, I know that whatever I program in there, it's gonna do. It's not gonna do weird things. Yeah, okay, so I've got some homework to do. I need to get back into Vatsim. We can do that. Yeah, especially if you're gonna fly in London, you don't want to have your aircraft giving you more work to do than it should, because you're going to be concentrating on doing things properly. Yeah, if you're keen to see upcoming things on the channel, like flying on Vatsim, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, then you can get notified when I go live, because at the moment I still don't have a set schedule, because I just kind of do this when I can. So the only way to know when I'm live and streaming is to hit the notification bell so that YouTube will tell you when I'm doing something. I've got a couple of cool things coming up. So this was one of them, was I wanted to do another A320 flight on Flight Sim anyway. I'm going to check out some of the interesting approaches in places like, no, I can't think of any. All the dangerous approaches. So I want to do like Lukla and those places, Paro, check out what those look like in Flight Sim. We can do some of that stuff on the stream. I think it was actually you, Callum, that was asking to do the arrival into Innsbruck. That's something that I still want to do when we go back to flying some British Airways stuff. I'm still going to fly my helicopters in X-Plane, even though not a lot of people watch that, but that's actually what I'm enjoying the most at the moment. So yeah, I've got some cool stuff coming up. So I'm excited. If you want to see more, be sure to subscribe. And if you have suggestions of things you want me to do, I can't guarantee I'll do them, but you know, if it's something that I feel like is a cool idea and it's something I want to try, I'm definitely open to suggestions. I haven't forgotten about Innsbruck though. That is something we're gonna do. It's just that at the moment, at British Airways Virtual, my pilot is down in Cape Town, so I'm just gonna fly back to the UK, and then we can do some more British Airways stuff up that side and do operations like into Innsbruck. Also, I was kind of holding off until the A320 gets a little bit more stable, because once again, I don't want to be flying in between the mountains and have it randomly veering off to the right. That'll be a bit of an issue. Oh, and then Concorde. Still want to go back to flying Concorde. That was super cool. I really enjoyed that. But yeah, lots to stream, which is good. I'd rather have too many ideas than no ideas. Wow, 2 more aircraft just popped up on IVAO. So we have CNS. What is that? Let's see. It doesn't seem to exist. CNS? CNS is an airport. Huh. Let's do this. CNS, Cobalt Air. Interesting. Which doesn't seem to actually exist anymore. Anyway, so there's a CNS A345, A34500. Okay, interesting. Flying from Cape Town to Zurich. We've got another one, MD81, flying from Maputo to Kimberley. That's an interesting flight. Okay, so IVO, there's a few pilots online, but no air traffic control. Right. We need to do some calculations because the descent calculator in this aircraft is not great. So I have a little app for this on my iPad. Let's do some calculations. Where is it? Okay, so we are at 35,000 feet, and what did I say? I don't think I did. Our final approach fix. So let's actually sort these out. Okay, so we need on our approach charts. Don't need Cape Town anymore. Right, so we need our arrival into Windhoek, which is this guy. We need runway 26. Which is this one, and the airports, which is this one. Right, so let's have a look at the ILS. So it frits 8,000 feet. Jeez, our intercept, that's high. What is the airport altitude? Airport elevation 5,600. Okay, so that does make perfect sense. Right, so 8,000 feet is our intercept altitude. I'll go back to my little app. So we are going from so we are going from 35,000 down to 8,000. So that's a change of 27,000 feet. So we put in 27,000. We'll do a ground speed of 300, descent angle 3 degrees, and we'll descend at 1,800 feet per minute. So that means we need to descend at let's actually take this out. 1,800. Oh, that's why my ground speed is 31. That's not what I want. Let's take that out. Okay, so we need a ground speed of 339 knots, and we're going to descend at 85 nautical miles away from the airport. So we'll add 10 onto that to give us time to slow down. So 95 miles away. We are currently 355. I hope that is updating. Let's keep an eye on that. Okay, it is. So when that reaches 95, that's when we will start our descent into Windhoek, Namibia. Okay, then let's just quickly look at the airport. Very small airport. There's not much going on. So we're landing runway 26. We'll probably vacate over here. Let's go and see what, tell us what taxiway that is. So let's quickly get another chart for that. Wow, it doesn't even tell us the taxiway names. Jeez. Okay, any information for arrival? Taxi procedures. All non-scheduled flights shall contact prior to arrival. That doesn't concern us. Okay. Communication failure. Not too worried. Okay, so there's nothing super relevant to us in the briefing. Let's go and look at... So we have the airport chart. That's all it gives us. We don't even have taxiway names. Hectic. Okay. That's fairly simple then. Right. So from Atupi, we're going to Antab. That's already in our flight plan. At Antab, we turn right to 074 degrees to Nika, and then still on 074 to Lama. So we will fly $11 miles, 13.1. So that's 24.1 miles. Then we turn left to 006, 5 miles. Right, left 290, 4.6 miles, and that's where we intercept our localizer. Okay, that's going to be interesting. Let's update our weather again, keep an eye on what's happening over in Windhoek. I'm not going to bother doing Walvis Bay because it doesn't have a weather station anyway. Okay, so we'll wait for the new one to pop up. Right. Now we have a station unavailable for Windhoek. Why? That's a bit concerning. How is that station unavailable when it was working before? Huh. Did they even model into the game the fact that some of these things go offline in Africa? Really? No, it was fine there. Let's try that one more time and see if it works. That'll be interesting. We don't have updated weather. We're gonna have to go based off of this one, which is not too much of an issue, but it would be nice to get exactly what's going on. Yep, station not available. That is interesting. Okay. Let's give it a while and then we'll try again and see. Where are we getting this weather from? Let's double check that. Yeah, we're getting it from the game. So in the Neo, you can actually choose. So if you're flying on VATSIM, you can get this. Pilot Edge is another one, which is a paid service, but only in certain parts of the US. And IVAO, you can actually get the weather straight from there. That is odd that it's decided to go offline. Welcome to Africa. Clouds are gone, but it's cloudy out that way. As we get closer there. Mountains. Yeah, so it looks like we are going to head back into some cloudy conditions. It was saying cloudy at 3,000 feet earlier. I wonder if it's not just glitching out. Let's put Walvis Bay in. See if that fixes it. Because I wonder if just because we didn't add this time, it was somehow picking up that didn't have a weather station because we put that in earlier and we didn't this time. That is something I could see happening. So let's just try that. Nope. Station is offline. Wow, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, there at 1800, which is this one. That was the last update it gave us. Hectic. Okay. What's our distance that we have left to go? 300 miles still. Okay, so we are now having a look. We are now inside WIndhoek's airspace. So we would be talking to WIndhoek Center, WIndhoek Control, I think it would be. Otherwise, we are looking good. Approach is going to be fairly interesting because I'm going to do it all manually off of headings and distances. Which reminds me, I wonder. I'll sort that out later, that's not an issue. I wonder how we are going to fly the correct distances when we don't have the rest of these waypoints. That's going to be interesting. So we might have to do some maths. So the first distance we have to fly is 24.1 miles. So let's see. If we do that at 200, we have to be at 250 knots indicated. So that means our ground speed is going to vary. So we're going to have to do calculations based on that when we get there. This is going to be interesting. Okay, so we're going to do a nice, fun, old school approach here, because this is not playing games with us. So what we'll have to do is, because I can work out the distances, I'll have to then look at our current ground speed and I'll plug it into my little app here and then see. So just to test it out, which is cool that my app's got a timer on it as well. So we can go distance 21.1 is the first distance we need to travel. And if we just plug in a speed of 250, which it won't be, we'll have to use our ground speed. That gives us a time of 8 minutes, which I can automatically set into, sorry, not 8 minutes. I didn't actually do the calculation. 5 minutes. So I'll put that into the timer and then we can time that down. That's pretty cool. Right, so this is going to get interesting. We're doing it all manually. I don't know, I feel like that sometimes makes it a lot more fun. I've always liked the Air Namibia liveries. They look super cool. These screens are starting to annoy me. Okay, the other thing we might as well do so long is put in some of this information. So going back here to my charts. Our ILS frequency for runway 26 110.30, so 110.3, and the course 256. Why does it look like I can't enter that though? Because I can't. Oh wait, put it here, right? Nope. Let's try. Huh. Yeah, I can put it there, but that's not going to change anything for this. Interesting. We'll see if it picks it up when we actually do it, when we actually get close enough and it switches over to approach mode. Hopefully it sorts itself out. Yeah, the other one I want to put in is WIndhoek's VOR, which is 114.5. Put that in. Then if I do this, we should have that displayed there, which is perfect. They don't give us distances. They don't give us distances from the VOR because this is an RNAV arrival. So I'm gonna have to do speed and distance calculation. Which you shouldn't do on an RNAV arrival. That should all be done with the GPS, but we don't have any other options at the moment. Right, so I think we have a solid plan for how we're going to manage with our aircraft issues. Okay, distance update 241. So we'll start. Oh, we had 95. I think we might start at around 100. Give us some leeway because we're going to be doing a lot of calculations based on our ground speed, which is going to be changing. What is our current ground speed? 474. Right, we are coming up. Looks like the weather is getting worse. Hello? No, stop moving around, thank you. So we're definitely starting to go into some it's like possibly storm clouds. They're not super high, mind you, we are at 35,000 feet, so this red bit here, possibly some storm activity. Let's double check our altitudes. So at Atupi, so 1500. So I'll keep that in mind as we do this as well. Why are we speeding up? What happened? Right, just over 200 miles to go. 215 miles to go before to WIndhoek. How long to landing? So, probably about half an hour. So we are predicting we will arrive at 1700 Zulu, and it's 1636. So yeah, around half an hour. Possibly a little bit more. So we're gonna do a nice, we'll do a fly past for the airport, because this is our last Air Namibia flight. So kind of just to say goodbye. We'll do a fly past, and then we'll do the missed approach and come around and land at the airport. Yeah, that means we should actually look at the missed approach procedure. So, climb straight ahead on track 256 at 3 DME from the Windhoek VR, turn right to intercept the radial 050, and at 12 DME turn right to intercept the 14 DME arc, and passing the 67-degree radial, intercept the localizer and continue to Fritz to hold or as directed. Climb to 8,000 feet. So that is exactly what we shall do. So we'll come in, do our approach. So I'm thinking probably maybe we'll make it nice and fast. Do like 235 knots. No, actually we want to do it nice and slow. So our maximum speed on the missed approach is 185 knots anyway. So I think we'll come in at 185 knots. That'll probably give us what, flaps 2? And then follow the missed approach procedure. And then come around and land. Yeah, that sounds like a plan. Distance now 176, so we can start entering our destination information. Let's do one last double check to see if we can actually get weather information for Windhoek. Strange that it's offline. I wonder if, because this pulls from Meteor Blue, which is a real world weather thing, maybe the actual weather station in Namibia goes offline, and that's why the website can't pull from it. Yeah, we can't get any information. That is very interesting. So we'll have to go off of what we got here. So QNH 1019, I think it was 19. Temperature 18. Winds 2109. Transition altitude. Let's double check on here. 10,000. And decision height we'll do 200 feet. Yeah, so that will give us flaps 2 for our fly past at 185 knots. And then missed approach and into land. Okay, just double checking. decision height for us is category C, 228. Alright, what's our distance now? We were at 176, 156, so not long to go, about 50 miles. And we will start our descent. So definitely some interesting clouds here. That does look quite dark, pretty rough. It is red on here as well. Over the airport doesn't seem to be too bad. The airport is here. Ignore all of this. We're not doing all of that. Don't know why that's part of our MCDU, but it is. Let's go ahead and put terrain on over here and zoom this out a bit. Yeah, so the aircraft wants us to descend now, which is far too early. Still got about 50 miles to go before we start our descent. When we do descend, go back to my calculation, so we are doing 339 ground speed. We are going to have to slow down a bit for that. So we're currently at 487. Well, let's do another calculation. Because rather than slow down, let's clear this. We do 1800 feet a minute. Oh, that's weird. Okay. So we will do 487-ish knots ground speed. That gives us a vertical speed of 2,600. Because we're descending a little bit earlier, we'll round that down. So we'll do 2,500. This is actually 2,585. So at 100 miles to go, we will descend at... Now, is the angle modeled here? Because if we do this, we should be able to descend at a particular angle, which will sort all of that calculation out for us anyway. There we have the bird. That's great. Let's just turn this on. Okay, let's get ready for our descent. So we'll go auto brake. We've actually got quite a lot of runway, so let's go low. What else do we need to do? Let's go through the checklist. Okay. So we've set auto brake. We've put in all of our information, so we are pretty much good to go. We will turn on the seatbelt signs when we pass 15,000 feet. Now let's double check on this chart. Okay, there's no altitude restrictions that we have to be at or below, so we can just do a continuous descent down to the approach path, which is perfect. As long as we are above flight level 150 until 11 miles from Antav. Okay, that's fine. We will be. That's not an issue. See, I can't add range rings around any of my waypoints. That's not implemented yet, because what we should have is should have a fix info. I think it's up here. So that would help us a lot if we could do that. Anyway, that's not implemented yet. Okay, we're at about 100 miles. What I'm actually going to do is turn the seatbelt signs on now because we're going into those clouds. We might even need to do anti-ice at some point, but that's okay. Right, let's see if we can get this working. So we want to descend at 3 degrees. Oops. And we are going down to 8,000. Oh, should have set, obviously should have set the altitude first. Doesn't feel like we are descending though. We are definitely not descending. Let's do that. And then do, there we go, now that's working. Okay, let's hope we don't overspeed now, because we want to maintain that speed. The engines are throttling back, which is good. We'll give it a bit of speed brake, because we want to keep that ground speed, because that's what we've done our calculations based on. Okay, that's looking good. Back to the charts. So once we get to Antav, that's where we need to start doing our own calculations, which we're heading to at the moment. So we're descending at about 2,500 feet per minute, which is exactly what we were expecting based on our calculations. That's also looking good. Right, so at Antav, we're going to turn right, heading 074 degrees. And actually, I'm going to dial this up to 15,000 at don't think it should have cancelled this, but anyway, we'll reset that. Because we don't want to go below 15,000 until we kind of abeam the airport. Then we can start our descent. So kind of, once we're over there, we can start our descent to 8,000. Alright, seatbelt signs are on. What I do like to do is just arm the spoilers anyway, in case I forget. Weather looks like it is going to be fairly interesting. And our distance now, 70 miles. Okay, 9 miles now from Antav, where we will start our turn, and that's where we need to start our timer as well. Okay, so at a ground speed of... what are we at now? So we'll be around 400. And we need to go 21.1. So that gives us 3 minutes. Right, there's Antav now, so I think we can start our turn to 074. And we'll start our timer. Okay, so once our timer is ticked down to 3 minutes, we then turn left 006 degrees. Okay, also we need to bring the speed down. Because we need to be below 250 knots. Yes, we're actually quite high at the moment. Actually very high. We want it to be at about 15,000 feet. It's not too much of an issue. So we'll just use the speed brakes a bit so we can send a bit faster. Lever's not moving, but I can hear that they are working. It shows us there. Okay, no more speed brakes. Oh, that's why we're speeding up. So this, getting it into the right place, the throttle to detect the climb, it's like a very small area. So I just bumped the throttle a little bit and then it went to our takeoff power. And now it's taking very long to spool down. So we're going to be even higher than if we weren't too high already, we definitely are now. Okay, let's flip this back over. Okay, so we're going to extend this. We're kind of on a downwind now. We'll extend that pretty far so we can make our turn in. These clouds really low. No, they look like they're fine, because there's no point doing our fly past if no one can see anything. It looks like we should be fine. Right, time to go into the clouds. Okay, runway altitude is 5,500. So if we do a nice fly past, we go down to 5,800, 5,700. Should be pretty cool. Maybe do 100 feet, 5,600. Airport elevation is 5,600. We'll do 5.7, and we'll judge it as we are coming along. Okay, we can start our turn now. We're going to 006. And we can actually bring us around even more. Let's see if we can pick up the ILS. There we go. So let's follow the localizer. Probably should have put that on a little bit earlier, to be honest. How do I... Does my headphone cable keep doing this? That's all. Yeah, we're coming through 10,000 feet, so let's turn on landing lights. And we'll set our QNH 1019. And we can also start slowing down. Okay, so flaps 1 now. There's the runway. We'll stay at 8,000 for now, but we are eventually gonna go down to 5.7 as we get a bit closer. Right, now we're under 200 knots, so we'll go flaps 2. Okay, that we see now this shouldn't have descended because I did not tell it to do that. Should have stayed at 8,000. Right, we're on the localizer now. Right. And we will do our fly past. We're at 185 knots. I'm thinking maybe we should even bring it a bit slower. We can put the gear down. Nah, 185 is fine. We'll do it like this. Because 185 knots is also our go-around speed. Well, not go-around, but the missed approach we do at 185. Yeah, so we're watching for the glide slope because we're well under the glide slope at the moment. So as that starts to come down, we won't actually go onto into approach mode. We're just gonna send down to 5,700 and we'll overfly the runway like that. Right, there comes our glide slope. Okay, here we go for our fly past here at WIndhoek. And we can see now with those mountains, that's why our chart says we shouldn't do any turns to the south, and we are going to turn north for our missed approach, which does make sense.
Too low, terrain.
It's gonna complain.
Too low, terrain.
Don't know in this aircraft
low,
if we can
terrain.
actually stop that.
Too low, terrain. 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 Too low.
We are a little bit low, they're at 100 feet.
Too low, terrain.
So we want to be at about 200.
Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain.
Yeah, there we go. Wow, nice fly past.
Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain.
Yeah, sorry, I can't stop the GPWS from complaining.
Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain.
And there we go.
Terrain.
Unfortunately,
Too low.
Air Namibia is no more as of 3 days ago.
Terrain.
Right, let's go up to 8,000 feet.
Too low, terrain.
Hello?
Too low, terrain.
That was close.
Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain. Too low.
Yeah, I have control now.
Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain.
Right, so we'll go up to 8,000 feet.
Terrain. Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain.
A little bit close at the end. The runway goes up quite a lot at the end. I didn't know about that. Okay, so 3DME, which we have just passed. We are going to turn right to 256. Oh, sorry, we turn right. Basically, we just make a loop. So we need to intercept the 050 radial. That's fine. So we want to go around like so. Okay, and they want us at 210 knots. So we'll go flaps 1. And I think we'll stay at flaps 1 for now. Okay, let's see if we can actually put this in. I don't think it's actually going to take that. That's too much. Let's do 100. Oh man. Okay, once again, plane's doing its own thing now. Can't actually dial in a heading. There we go. it a million times. Alright, we're going back over the airport now, which is not what we wanted to do, and it's doing its own thing again. Okay. As always with this aircraft, I'm gonna have to just hand fly it. Well, we'll do another pass over the airport. Why not? Okay, let's go back here then. And we will start our turn. And I'm basically just gonna eyeball this now. So we'll stay at 8,000 feet. We'll go all the way around to intercept the localizer. Right, so now we're kind of on downwind. Maybe turned a little too soon. Yeah, let's set up. Start bringing the speed down. I do want to open this turn out a little bit so we can have a bit more space for our turn. We'll go flaps 2 now. I say it's been a long time since I hand flew a pretty much visual approach in an Airbus. Okay, so we're just going through the glide slope intercept point now, so we'll extend. So obviously we're going to have to turn around, and then we want to intercept that glide slope. Okay, keeping it at 8,000. Alright, what's our DME? We are 10.5. Right, let's start our turn. Right, and we're going to hand fly the ILS as well. Okay, there's the runway, so let's straighten out. Okay, and we can now start slowing down and configuring for landing. While we are rolling. Gear down. Yeah, I don't know what our flight director is doing. Oh, we are descending. Okay, there we go. The flight director now looks like it's sorted itself out. Yeah, flaps full now. So we are fully configured. In reality, you probably would have done gear and flaps full slightly later, but because I'm going to be hand flying this on my own, just wanted to set up earlier so that we are ready to go. Right, let's get us on the glide slope and on the localizer. Here comes our glide slope marker now. A little to the left, but there is a pretty strong crosswind from the left. Oh, it's not too strong, 4 knots, but it definitely is pushing us a little bit. Okay, there's our glide slope, so let's start our descent. Right, at this point I'm pretty much visual, to be honest. Keep an eye on the glide slope. You need to tell the cabin that we are landing. Taking my hands off the controls though is not the best. That's okay, we got this. Ooh, a little bit of a dip there. Okay, 2 whites, 2 reds. Looking good. Right, let's see if I can not float for the first time ever in the Airbus. Well, in this Airbus, in the A320 in Flight Sim, I tend to float. Don't have the issue in like the 319 in X-Plane or the A330. A little bit low. It is actually quite bumpy. Yeah, we're still too low. Right, but we are fully visual. Whoops. Wow, definitely being pushed. We are going to land a little deep. There's the float. Yeah, we've got reverse. Let's try and get back on the center line. Once again, I'm not the best at landing in flights in 2020, especially in the airline. Okay, manual braking and reverse idle. Ground speed 21. We're still a little fast. Callum says, great stream. Thank you so much, Callum. Always appreciate you tuning in. Right. We can now bring up the flaps. Get rid of the spoilers, which we'll do in a moment. And there's Air Namibia A320s at those stands already. Right, let's get rid of these. This can come off. These guys can come off. And so can the strobes. Yeah, we're still in reverse thrust, which is perfect because then aircraft isn't going to run away. So let's go back to normal thrust, and I also actually like to just do a single engine taxi just so we don't have the crazy thrust issue where it just runs away even at idle. So which of these gates is open? So that one's got an Airbus, and so does that one. Oh, that's not Air Namibia, that one. So I think this one in the middle here we'll take. Gates actually face outwards. So we kind of have to do like a turnaround. Oh, I should have taken the next one because there's actually a guy there. Oh, well. So if I follow the arrows, we go straight in this way and we turn around to the left to swing our nose back out to kind of stop somewhere over there. That looks very far out, to be fair. Right, let's go. Nice and slow. That's a little bit too slow. Doing 1 knot. Okay, we can also turn off the taxi light at this point. Not super easy to click on, but there we go. I feel like we're a little bit in front of the line because our nose wheel is behind us. That feels a bit better. Okay, just straighten the nose wheel. There we go, parking brake set. We can shut down the engine. And that'll want to end our flight, which is fine. We can say continue for now. Right, we will let that spool down. This we can turn off. Right, and then we can turn off the seatbelt signs, these, and we'll turn off the lights as well. There we are. Yeah, we were just a little bit behind the line, which is what I thought. I can actually turn off the APU because it's It's loud. Just use ground power. Oh, all the lights just came on. That's pretty cool. Right. So, welcome to WIndhoek, Namibia. This is the FSDG light scenery for WIndhoek that I've got. And the sun is just setting. We said we would be landing just before sunset, which we have done perfectly. But other than that, I think it's time to end the stream. So farewell to Air Namibia. I've never actually flew on them in real life. Did a couple of flights with them in the sim. Always really liked the livery. I think it looks really cool. I like the flag on the tail. It's awesome. So sad to see them go. Obviously, there's something going on there with the circumstances that I don't know about. So maybe it's a good thing that they are no longer. I'm not too sure, but I will still miss seeing those cool tails. I think it's a cool flag on the tail. Anyway, right, that brings us to the end of the stream. So as always, thank you to everyone who tuned in. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already and you want to see more, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to let you know when I go live, so you can see all the cool things that I have coming up. Appreciate the support. So it really is great, all of you who came to hang out on Valentine's Day on a Sunday night here where I am. So thank you so much to all of you who have been watching, and I will see you again soon in the next one. Actually, I will be streaming again tomorrow, so I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I'll see what I feel like, but definitely going to be streaming tomorrow. So yeah, I will see you then. Thank you so much.